Hello everyone, I am the Canadian Gaming Penguin. On February 5th and or February 6th, depending on your time zone, the Letter from the Producer Live Part 62 was presented. As per usual, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV, Naoki Yoshida, aka Yoshi-P, and the global community producer, Toshio Morochi, apologize if I said your names wrong, aka Foxglon, presented the letter to us. In the second half of the letter, the lead project manager, Shoichi Matsuzawa, joined Yoshi-P to give a presentation. In this video, I will be giving a summary as to what we learned during this letter from the Producer Live Part 62. I will not be showing screenshots of what we were shown during the live letter, apart from a segment of the live letter itself later on in this video, mostly because most of the screenshots we were shown are spoilery, and we weren't shown that many in the first place. Before we get to the content of the live letter, however, I'd like to apologize for getting this out as slowly as it has. My apologies. I had some technical difficulties and other issues along the way. Anyways, I would also like to give a big shout out to the Final Fantasy XIV Discord translation team that translated the live letter while it was live. They were a huge help with note-taking and getting more details about what was said during the live letter. That said, let's get to it. At the beginning of the presentation of the letter, we were shown the teaser trailer for the Endwalker expansion. The Endwalker expansion is set to release sometime in the fall of this year. We also learned that April 13th, 2021 is the release date for Part 1 of Patch 5.5, and the second part of Patch 5.5 would be at the end of May. During Part 1 of Patch 5.5, the open beta for the PlayStation 5 version of the game will be available. There will be more details about the PlayStation 5 version of the game later on in this video. Now, what exactly is to come with Patch 5.5, which, by the way, is titled Death Unto Dawn? That doesn't sound ominous at all. Nope, not one bit. Well, we will have new main scenario quests. As per usual, the main scenario quests will be split between the two parts of Patch 5.5. We were shown a screenshot that is subject to change of what is to come. I wouldn't really consider it that spoilery. For those that are caught up to the main scenario quest, that is, what we are shown in the screenshot should be expected to some degree. And for those who aren't caught up, there may be a couple of spoilers about it, so don't look too closely if you are in fact going to look at it. The storyline with these main scenario quests will connect with the Endwalker expansion, thus we will now be in the pre-Endwalker expansion main scenario quests. During the Digital Fan Festival, we will learn more about Part 2 of Patch 5.5. The Digital Fan Festival will take place in May. More details about the Fan Festival can be found in my announcement showcase summary video. There should be a card up on the screen to take you to that video. Along with main scenario quests, we will also have a new instanced dungeon, which we have learned the name of, Pagelthan. Yeah, I definitely butchered the name of this. This dungeon will be Trust System compatible. We are also shown a screenshot of this dungeon, and it looks similar in some ways to something. Moving on. The final chapter of the Sorrow of Worlds storyline will be coming with Patch 5.5. Thus, there will be a new trial and extreme version of that trial, the trial name being the Cloud Deck. This definitely sounds interesting. The final chapter, or Chapter 3 of the Yorha Dark Apocalypse, apparently I can't say apocalypse today because this is the second time I've really stammered it. The Yorha Dark Apocalypse Alliance Raid, there we go, series will be available, and the subtitle to this chapter is, well, a secret. With that, we were shown a screenshot that looks like, well, to me it looks like a ball of fluff of some sort. And I do know I'm mentioning the screenshots. They're not that spoilery, and I am making note of when there are actual screenshots so that if you are interested in it, you can go and find them yourself as well. With the Alliance raid, there will be a weekly quest that will be tied to the story that will be available after completing the duty. Next, we move on to job adjustments. We weren't given any information as to what these changes will be, but there will be player versus environment and PvP, or player versus player adjustments. More details about this will be available with part 2 of the live letter, which will likely take place sometime in late March, or at least that's my guess of when it will be taking place, at any rate. Next, we will be able to upgrade our resistance weapons once more, but before I get into that, the upgrading requirements will be eased up to patch 5.35. The upgrading process will be possible by playing through the Boston Southern Front. There will be improvements to the rewards in Castrum Lacus Littori, and there will also be additional rewards added. Thus, this will, however, occur during a hotfix rather than during the main part of the patch. Thus, they ask for our patience in the meantime. I haven't even done that yet, so I'm definitely patient. Anyways, now mentioning the resistance weapons, the final step of the upgrading process will be available, and this will require the completion of the Save the Queen story quests, which means I need to get my button gear and do them myself. Along with this, there will also be a new area, Zadnor. Moving on to the Unreal Trials, we will be getting a new opponent to fight, but we were not told which opponent, as they are keeping it a secret for now. But look forward to that information when we get it, probably in part 2 of the live letter. Crafter and Gatherers will also be getting an update this patch cycle. Crafters will have more challenging expert recipes, some of which will require high-level equipment and expert use of crafting. AKA something I can't do. Yet. Haha. Gatherers will be able to, oh wait for it, see the gathering points on the map when the map is opened from the gathering log. Yay! I'm super happy about that. It's one thing to know, oh, it's in this area. Now I have to find the right gathering points. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. So on and so forth. This is really good quality. This is a really good quality of life update, in my opinion. It definitely ties into the other quality of life updates that have been improved upon in the last several patches. Fishers will also be able to see a list of fish to be released at fishing holes. We were shown a development screenshot, which may be subject to change. I truthfully don't entirely understand the importance of this, as I've never really done it before, but I also don't fish all that much in the game. Something that I want to do, but I also still have that one pesky quest to do. Right. And next up on an Ishgardian restoration update. I wasn't actually expecting anything, but it makes sense for them to do this, as it ties into the firmament area. Otherwise, the firmament will kind of just be, what's the use of it now, sort of thing. Especially if you're done all the crafting and gathering that you need to do. And or gotten all the Kupo fortune stuff. But anyways, the update is this. The firmament will periodically celebrate its completion. Of course, on my own server, we aren't actually done yet. I want to gather a ton more before I start the crafting process. But enough about me. So, with the completed firmament, there will be fêtes, I'm butchering the French in this case, or what I figure is a fancy way of saying fates. Rough translation of fête is festival, so it'll have periodic festivals, whatever that means. I'm excited to see what these are all about and how they work. Also related to the firmament, there will be a new custom delivery client. Who? No idea! We'll have to wait and find out. And next up, Triple Triad update. They are going to adjust the use of 4-star cards index and also raise the acquisition rates of the cards. Yay! I've lost track of how many hours attempting to get some cards from NPCs. It's not even because of a lack of winning. I like the game, Triple Triad that is, but if you spend hours and hours and hours trying to get cards from NPCs and you still fail to get it, it's not so fun anymore. That said, along with the change, they are also adding achievement rewards for obtaining Triple Triad cards. Woot! The rewards will be based on a certain number of cards obtained rather than all cards, because the number of all cards is going to change over time as they add more cards almost every single patch, basically. Major patch, that is. Or in between patches. Anyways, as for this next update, I am super excited for it. There will be additional dungeons available in Explorer mode. Specifically, the level 70 dungeons. Woohoo! Additionally, level sync and item level sync can be disabled so that it allows more features to expand. Instruments can be used, and there will be more flexibility and freedom to do other things whilst in Explorer mode. Yay! I'll be looking forward to exploring some of the level 70 dungeons, and I will also admit that I haven't really gotten around to exploring all the level 80 dungeons. For shame, Penguin, for shame. We will also have some miscellaneous updates coming with this patch cycle as well. There will be new indicators for bonuses while ocean fishing. A new instrument will be added to the performance feature. I'm super curious to know what instrument this will be. And there will also be a reward mount for obtaining all the trial mounts from the 5.x series. This is obviously similar to the previous iterations of Extreme Trials in the 2.x, 3.x, and 4.x series with the ponies, birds, and dogs. I really need to start working on that, especially with the changes coming with 6.0. And that's it for the miscellaneous updates. Now, this next update, while it does not directly affect me, as it's not something I do currently in the game, although I do have interest in trying it eventually, but it was something I expected as Square Enix lost a lot of development time trying to make the transition to work from home because of the pandemic. This is time that they cannot get back, as we learned later last year during one of the live letters. We were informed that the new Ultimate Trial, which was originally planned for patch 5.5, is coming. However, this Ultimate Trial will not be released until patch 6.1. That means that this Ultimate Trial will not be available until after the Endwalker release. We were given an explanation of why this was, and I'll get to that in a moment. Yoshi-P apologized profusely for this delay, and I will add that he quite literally looked beat up that they were not able to get this out to players in the normal scheduled release for these Ultimate Trials. He looked visibly upset about the failure to be able to get this out, and he did emphasize that it will be released as it is at 70% completion already. He even paused the live letter to ask FFXIV if this announcement required additional English translation in addition to the translation on the slides. FFXIV's response, which I also agree with his assessment, is that the slides should be enough to convey the message and the reasons why there is the delay, and the apology that they have for us as players. Now, as to why the delay, as I mentioned already, the development process of the game in general lost a lot of time because of the pandemic. In addition to this, they needed to prioritize development of other content. Additionally, because of the situation, it was at the point where it would affect the development of Endwalker. Thus, the decision was made to postpone its release until patch 6.1. Big oof. Now, it's obvious that there would be people upset about this. It does suck, but so does a lot of other things. I'm just thankful that they were able to transition successfully, although with some difficulties still, to working from home. As I said, this doesn't come to a surprise to me about the delay, although I am surprised about how much of a delay. But I also have never really tried the Ultimate Raid, so I have no idea how much work actually goes into it, other than a lot. Now, with all that out of the way, what is the new Ultimate Trial? Well, it will be a reimagining of the Dragon Song War, a what-if scenario of some sort. And that's basically all we know. At this point in the live letter, there was a break, and during that break was a preview video of the upcoming Primals album, Scions and Sinners. After the break, the lead project manager, Shoichi Matsuzawa, joined Yoshi-P to give a presentation. Now, I'm not going to go over the presentation as it was quite long. In summary, the presentation was about the duties of a Final Fantasy XIV project manager and what the schedules look like for planning updates for Final Fantasy XIV, etc., particularly as it pertains to the project managers. The beginning portion of the presentation was super hilarious, and I do want to show it. This will be in Japanese, and I won't be translating it, but the slides will tell you what is happening kind of as there is English on them, and sort of see what is said. Additionally, if you are part of the Final Fantasy XIV Discord, they have a channel with the translations that they do during the live letters, etc., so if you want to see more details about the presentation, make sure to check it out. With that said, let's get to the clip.
じゃあ、お願いします。画面お願いします。
はい、まずプロジェクトマネージャーどんなことをやってるかなんですけど、例えば収支予算計画とか、それを実際に予算執行していく周りの仕事とかを担当してたりとかします。それからプロジェクト全体のスケジュールの取りまとめとか、マイルストーンを作成したりですとか、それから部門やセクションをまたぐ案件。例えばなんですけど、ヨルファーダークアポカリプスとかセーブ・ザ・クイーンとかって外部のクリエイターの方と協力していただいて、かつセクションもいくつもまたいで動かさなければいけないので、そのあたりの交通整理的なところとかやっていたりします。あとはあれですね、各種メジャーパッチ、マイナーパッチといったアップデートの進行管理ですとか、あと外部と契約を結んだり契約条件調整したりとか、ヒットブックですとか、それとプラットフォーマー、そうですね、SIE 様とかそういったところとの障害調整とか、あと日欧米とこうグローバルでサービス展開しているので、そこら辺の案件の調整とかを担当していたりします。あとはあれですね、コロナの関連でこうリモートワークとかに体制を切り替えていかなければいけないのもあって、そのあたりの機材ですとか環境整備のところとかもプロジェクトマネージャーの仕事ですね。と言ってもまあちょっとこう割とごちゃごちゃしてる感あると思うので、一言でまとめてみました。はい、一言でまとめると、吉田さんのやりたくないことを感じかなと。
なるほど。
まあね、まあ確かにね、僕がやりたくないって思うことばっかりでしたよね。確かにね。はい。まあ吉田がやりたくないと思ってることを全部やってくれてるのがプロジェクトマネージャーだと。なるほど。興味深いですね、これ。これは興味深いですね。
ちょっとですね、言葉のあやがあったんで、もうちょっと言い直させていただくと、はい、まあ吉田さんの手の届かないところをカバーするお仕事かなと思ってます。
忖度するね。出しちゃってからだけど。
まあそうですね。しかもだいぶ大きいフォントだったのでびっくりしました。
いやありがとうございます。僕がなんとかいろんな業務をね、兼務しているのは皆様のプロジェクトマネージャーの皆様のおかげですね。はい、
ありがとうございます。
はい。
I loved the use of the slides. Matsuzawa-san then went on to explain what his work was like when Yoshi-P asked for Mahjong to be added to the game, and this was also very amusing. And at some point, Yoshi-P said, okay, this is stuff I don't want to do. Of course, he said in Japanese, but the translation into English is effectively what he said. And I credit the Final Fantasy Discord for that translation, as that's where I understood that that's what he said when he said it. Anyways, from there it went on to talk about how the update process works in terms of scheduling, etc. And I actually really did enjoy the presentation, although I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I would have liked, because at the point it was around 3 in the morning. Locally, I was tired. I've had an interest in game development for a number of years, which is why I found it so interesting, and in fact it was something I was hoping to do after university, but alas, life had other plans. Again, enough about me. Open beta for the PS5 version of Final Fantasy XIV begins on April 13th, 2021, alongside Part 1 of Patch 5.5. The PlayStation 5 version will only be available digitally. It will be possible to upgrade from the PS4 version to the PS5 version for free, and players that use the disc version will no longer require a disc after upgrading. They also plan on adding an upgrade edition download in the PlayStation Store, and more details of how to upgrade will be shared at a later date. After the presentation, we were shown a limited edition Panasonic Sound Slayer gaming speaker, with a Final Fantasy XIV design, and after that we were given the details of for the Final Fantasy XIV Digital Fan Festival 2021 around the world, which was also announced a few hours previously during the announcement showcase. The Digital Fan Festival will be taking place on May 15th and 16th, 2021. Everything, including the live concert, will be streamed for free. I am super excited about this, as this will be my first and probably the only fan festival that I will be able to take part in. Apart from expenses, I don't live anywhere near where there are usually fan festivals. Ahem. Anyways, the details on how to tune into the Digital Fan Festival will be announced at a later date. They also reminded us that some segments of the Digital Fan Festival would not be able to be archived. I expect we will find out what parts of the fan festival that is when it gets close to the time of the event. We were shown again the commemorative items, which are not free, an 8-seater Mount Lunar Whale, which looks awesome, I might add. Additionally, 3 Final Fantasy IV minions, Edge, Rosa, and Rydia. There are additional fan festival merchandise that will be available, many of which will be released at a later date. Next, we went into another short break. The remaining bit of the live letter mostly talked about merchandise that is available to pre-order, order, or will be out at a later date. Some of these items are region restricted. And that is it for the live letter. And I note in my notes that it reminded me that the live letter finished just past 4 AM locally. I think it was almost exactly 4:05 AM. Yeah, I was very tired that day. Anyways, as a summary to this video, we learned of what is to come with patch 5.5. That patch 5.5 is going to be split into 2 parts. Part 1 is to be released on April 13th, 2021, and the second part will not be until May, late May specifically. The Endwalker expansion is going to be released in fall of this year, 2021, and that the main scenario quests starting in patch 5.5 will relate to the expansion. There are a lot of things to look forward to in Final Fantasy XIV in the coming months. Woohoo! Anyways, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider hitting that like button. Please also consider subscribing if you would like to see more content like this. As an aside, I'm planning on doing a playthrough of the main scenario quests from A Realm Reborn to the end of Shadowbringers, and also to the pre-Endwalker expansion, and possibly continuing on with it when Endwalker is released. If you have an interest in watching that, I will elaborate on my plan in the first video of that playthrough, which should come later this week. I will also be continuing my Stardew Valley playthrough as well. Anyways, that is it for this video. Thanks for watching!